The story of Job is one of the most profound and complex accounts in the Bible, raising deep theological questions about suffering, justice, and divine sovereignty. In the book of Job, God allows Satan to test Job, a righteous man, which leads many to wonder, why would God permit the devil to torment someone who had done no wrong? Most people would say the answer to this question lies in the nature of faith, free will, and the ultimate purpose behind human suffering. But what if I tell you that God was not the one responsible for Job's ill fate, and that this story is way more deeper than it seems? Some people see the content of this story and assume that the God of the Bible is cruel. In this video, I will break down the verses on what they mean and what people get wrong about the proverb. Feel free to pull out your Bible and follow along with me. So let me recap for a moment. At the outset of the story, the Lord boasts to Satan about Job's unwavering righteousness and loyalty. Satan, however, challenges the idea that Job's faith is genuine, suggesting that Job is only faithful because God has blessed him with prosperity and protection. Satan argues that if these blessings were taken away, Job would curse God. In response, the Lord grants Satan permission to test Job's faith. In Job chapter 1 verse 12 it says, "And the Lord said unto Satan, Behold, all that he has is in his power, only upon himself put not forth hand." This is saying that the Lord appointed Satan that he has the power, but he cannot lay a hand on Job. Very interesting, right? Here is more. In verse 5 of that same chapter it says, "Job said, It may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts." It so happens that all these bad things kept happening to Job's kids, where they were taken into slavery, and a meteor fell from the sky and killed his sheep and workers. This sets the stage for Job's profound suffering, where he loses his wealth, children, and health, all without understanding why these calamities have befallen him. A lot of people have the concept that God allowed the devil to take Job's wealth and family away, but that was not the case. Theologically, this raises a critical point. The Lord's allowance of Satan's testing of Job wasn't a sign of abandonment, but a means to reveal the depth of Job's faith. By permitting the devil to act, God set in motion a test that would not only prove Job's righteousness, but also illustrate a broader lesson about the nature of suffering and faith. Suffering is not necessarily a punishment for wrongdoing, as Job's friends incorrectly assumed. Instead, it can serve as a crucible for refining faith and character. Through his trials, Job is forced to grapple with his understanding of justice, the limits of human wisdom, and the mystery of God's ways. From a broader perspective, the story of Job highlights the tension between human understanding and divine wisdom. Job demands answers from God, but when God finally speaks, he doesn't provide a direct explanation for Job's suffering. Instead, God reminds Job of the vastness of his creation and the limits of human knowledge. This response suggests that some aspects of divine will are beyond human comprehension. Job's eventual restoration, where he receives back more than he had lost, points to the idea that God's justice, while sometimes inscrutable, is ultimately redemptive. So why did God allow Satan to test Job? One interpretation is that it was to demonstrate that true faith in God is not transactional. Job's loyalty was not rooted in the blessings he received, but in a deeper relationship with God. His perseverance in the face of unimaginable suffering became a testament to the resilience of faith, even when God's ways are hidden. Moreover, it underscores that God can use even the most difficult trials to accomplish a greater purpose, one that may be beyond human understanding but serves a divine plan. In the end, the story of Job teaches us that while suffering is an inevitable part of life, it is not necessarily a sign of divine punishment or neglect. Instead, it can be a means by which faith is tested, refined, and ultimately strengthened. God's permission for the devil to pick on Job wasn't an act of cruelty, but an opportunity to demonstrate the profound nature of Job's faith, and to remind us all that even in the darkest moments, there is a divine purpose at work, one that may not always be immediately clear, but is rooted in the wisdom and justice of God. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, be blessed and stay true to your intuition and purpose.